What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Isiah Thomas and how once again he's dragging Michael Jordan's name through the mud. And I don't think it's any secret that Jordan and Isiah, they aren't the best of friends, and their rivalry, it dates back all the way to their playing days, and it really originates in the 1985 All-Star Game where Isiah, Magic Johnson, and George Gervin iced Michael Jordan out of his first ever All-Star Game. And their relationship, it wouldn't get any better, as the Pistons and Bulls had one of the fiercest rivalries in NBA history in the late 80s and early 90s. And the MJ and Isiah rivalry, it really peaked after Isiah was left off the 92 Dream Team, and many people speculate that Jordan, he was a primary reason that Isiah wasn't on the 92 Dream Team. So that was a quick refresher of the Isiah and Jordan rivalry, but today I want to focus in on Isiah Thomas and his takes about who is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I want to show you guys how Isiah has no consistency in his arguments and how he contradicts himself numerous times throughout the years. So with all that being said, let's look at the first video clip from Isiah Thomas on an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show.
His strength, his jumping ability, his touch, and also his knowledge and understanding for the game. He by far, is the best I've ever seen. And Irvin's my boy, but, Air.
Yeah. It's something else.
So in that video clip, you saw Isiah Thomas say that Michael Jordan is by far the best basketball player he has ever seen. And at this point in time, in 1990, Michael Jordan, he didn't have 6 championship rings, 6 finals MVPs, and he was still trying to find a way to win his first championship. And even with Jordan not having any championships or any finals MVPs, Isiah Thomas still says that he is by far the best player he has ever seen. And I want you guys to keep that in mind as we head on later in the video. Now, next up, I have 2 clips from the 98 finals where Isiah Thomas doubles and triples down on Michael Jordan being the greatest basketball player of all time.
Jordan has all the moves, everybody concentrates on his great moves, but look at the simple things. Just a little easy pump fake, lines it up, gets himself square, and goes up in perfect form. That's what makes him the great player. It's not the flashy things, it's the little simple things that he does. It's his fundamental base combined with his skill base that makes him the greatest player to ever play.
And you say that without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
Zeke?
I'd like to say congratulations to Chicago also. Michael Jordan is truly the greatest of our time. No other athlete could have done what he did this year, sustaining his concentration despite doing everything that he wanted to do with all the distractions. Just great performance by Michael Jordan.
Guys, thank you.
So those 2 clips, that was after Jordan had won his 6th championship and his 6th finals MVP, and he became one of the most accomplished players of all time. But I want you guys to remember, back to that clip from 1990, Isiah Thomas was already saying that Jordan, before he won his championships, he was the best player of all time. And now we'll fast forward to 2017, where Isiah Thomas, he completely contradicts his past points and his past arguments.
Well, I'm going to say neither. In my opinion, neither one of them are. And I've been on record saying this. To me, the greatest player to ever play the game that I've seen is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If I got to get 40 points or 50 points, then yeah, I'm taking a Michael Jordan or a Kobe. But the greatest player to ever play this game is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So that right there was Isiah Thomas saying that Kareem and not Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Now, I don't know what changed from 1998 till 2017 that would make Isiah think that. And if you want to talk purely about greatness, if you look at the resume comparison of Jordan versus Kareem, both these players are top tier when talking about greatness, but I think Jordan, he has the slight edge on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, the next time Isiah was talking about the greatest player of all time was all the way in 2020. And this time, he once again made the claim that Kareem was the GOAT over Michael Jordan. The only criteria that Isiah gave was the fact that Kareem has 6 championships, 6 MVPs, scored the most points all time, was dominant in college, high school, as well as the pros. And by Isiah's criteria, he says that makes Kareem the greatest player of all time. And only a few months later, after LeBron James won his 4th championship with Lakers, Isiah Thomas came out with this tweet. And in this tweet he claims LeBron James, he passed the eye test as well as the numbers as he dominates in every stat category. And he says LeBron James is the GOAT and he wants it to be known. And if that is Isiah's true opinion, he can have that opinion. But the thing that bothers me is that that statement contradicts what he said only a few months earlier, where he said Kareem was the greatest of all time based on his championships and his total stats, and his domination in high school, college, as well as the pros. And I know LeBron fans, they love to use total stats. So let's do a quick comparison of Kareem versus LeBron James with their total stats. And as you can see, out of the major categories, Kareem leads in points, blocks, rebounds, and has less turnovers. LeBron James only has more assists and more steals. So at this point, I think it's pretty obvious. Isiah Thomas, he has one goal and one goal only when talking about the greatest player of all time, and that is to discredit and devalue the impact of Michael Jordan. And only a few days ago, Isiah Thomas once again came out with some Michael Jordan slander, and this time he was in rare form, as when Shannon Sharpe asked Isiah the top 5 toughest players he played against, here's what he said in response.
Go by the winning records, right?
Right.
Magic, Kareem,
Okay.
Bird, Dr. J, and then I would say Jordan.
So definitely a hot take by Isiah, and I'm pretty sure there's no motive behind this take. And in that video clip, the only criteria he gave for Jordan being 5th was his record versus Isiah and the Pistons. So me being me, I wanted to go look at those 5 players and their record versus Isiah and the Pistons in the playoffs. And what I found was pretty interesting. Larry Bird in the playoffs versus Isiah had a record of 11-11. Michael Jordan had a record of 10-12. Magic had a record of 4-6. Kareem had a record of 4-7. And Dr. J had a record of 0-0, as he never played Isiah or the Pistons in the playoffs. So, based off Isiah's criteria of the records being the most important thing, Michael Jordan at the worst is in 2nd place. And to a certain degree, I do understand why he has Bird and Magic as his toughest competition. That's because those guys at that point, they're on championship squads and they're competing head-to-head for championships versus the Pistons. Now, the 2 players that I don't buy being tougher competition than Jordan are Kareem and Dr. J. And the reason I say that Kareem, he wasn't tougher competition for Isiah is the fact that when Isiah and Kareem played in the playoffs, Kareem was 41 and 42 years old. And in those series, he averaged 12.9 points per game, under 5 rebounds, and shot 42.1% from the field. That is definitely not prime Kareem. And if you look at Kareem's appearances versus the Pistons versus Jordan's, it's obvious that Jordan, he was the far better player as he averages more points, more rebounds, more assists, more steals, and shoots better from the field. And the last one on this list I don't buy is Dr. J. Now yes, Dr. J, he was an all-time great player, but the thing is, he retired in 1987, and the Pistons had yet to really reach their peak and their true championship form. And the other big thing is, Isiah, he simply never played Dr. J in a playoff series. So those 2 picks by Isiah, I do find questionable, and I think the main reason he picked those 2 guys is to downplay and discredit Michael Jordan. And this video, it desperately had to be made after Isiah Thomas, he's really been trashing Jordan for the past 3 to 4 years, and MJ, he has never responded publicly or directly to Isiah Thomas. So I think it's important to go back and look at Isiah's opinion in 1990 and how it's totally different and how he totally contradicts himself in 2020. And I think one other important takeaway is how Isiah's criteria, it changes from debate to debate and from player to player. And like everything with Isiah, that's mainly because he's trying his hardest to discredit and downplay Michael Jordan. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video was informative and provided some insight into the mind of Isiah Thomas. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.